Okay, as you probably know by now, there are two kinds of people in the world, us and them. You are either with us or you are with them. We may or may not define ourselves. We may or may not give a label to our own group. But we most certainly have a word for them. And if you're not one of us, then you are one of them. And today I'm going to tell you the worst thing about them and the best thing about us. It is not the simple fact that we are always right and they are always wrong. Of course it is like that, but it goes deeper. You see, they always think in black and white. They don't see any nuance, any sliding scales. But we do that. We have all the nuance in the world all the time. We don't think in black and white. You see, there are two kinds of people in the world, us and them. And if you are one of us, then you have all this enlightened, nuanced thinking. And if you're not one of us, you are one of them. And almost by definition, you think in black and white. You have this rigid mind, totally unlike us. Now, you may have heard this kind of argument before. So I wonder, where may you have heard it? If it's not as explicit as I just told you, if it's more baked into the argument, or maybe more of an undertone, then I think the answer is everywhere. This argument that I just made is so common. We hear it from pretty much all kinds of ideologies, religions, social movements, whatever. Anyone who has a group identity or a story to tell about the world and how things are. It's everywhere. Now, whether or not this argument actually have a point or not, I don't think that has anything to do with what religion or ideology or social group or whatever you are talking about as such. It's more about how you structure the thing. If you're talking about the fringe of a movement or a fringe moment, if you're talking about the extremists, the fanatics, regardless of whether they are in a majority or not, they are usually not in the majority actually, but that varies from case to case and we don't really have to debate it. But as long as you limit your argument not to everyone with a certain social identity or whatever, but to those within that group who actually do think in black and white, then of course your argument has merit. However, it is sadly uncommon to actually limit the argument that way. It is very common to claim that anyone on the other side who makes a stupid argument is representative for everybody in that movement, while anybody on our side who makes a stupid argument is not representative. And any generalization made by anyone on the other side proves that all of them think in black and white, while all generalizations on my side, including this generalization, somehow doesn't count. There is one thing I call double definition. This can be that you're using two different definitions of the same word. You may have two different concepts, but you call them the same thing. And this very easily becomes a problem in communication. Sometimes it's innocent, but very often it is either calculated or a matter of deluding oneself. Using two definitions at once. For example, the thing I just told you about. Use the idiot within a group to define what it means to belong to that group. But then use a completely different definition of who belongs to the group. And thereby you have decided that by definition everybody who uses that particular label about themselves, or even anyone who you or anybody else use that label about, is by definition as stupid as the person you have pointed out. And that person might not even be that stupid. It might have been a straw man argument to begin with, but never mind that. My point here is that yes, we do need nuance. We need actual nuance. We do need to get away from black and white thinking, but that means that we have to get away from actual black and white thinking. Attributing black and white thinking to them and have this strong dichotomy, this black and white thinking of us versus them, where us is by definition not black and white. Come on, don't do that bullshit, please, it sucks. So this is my rant for today, and I make it because of one specific argument made by one specific person. But I'm not going to tell you what person or argument that is. Because this is not about him. This is about that the bullshit he just said, I have heard it so many times before. It is so freaking common. So I encourage you not to think about one specific person and think, oh, that's how he is. This is something we all have to combat within ourselves, within our own communities. And by the way, fighting this mentality within your own community will not get you any friends, most likely. So be careful with it. You might have to make a choice between your intellectual integrity and your social competence, and just think it through. And I hope you choose intellectual integrity, but make sure that you're actually making an honest argument, that you're not throwing the credibility away for nothing. And with credibility, I mean that in a very loose sense. I mean the kind of credibility that people get from agreeing with people. I mean, if you believe something, then any person who seems to unquestionably believe the same thing comes across as credible. That's the kind of credibility that is so easy to gain and so easy to lose. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Good luck with your thinking and debating. Have fun and live long and prosper.